Hi gang, it's day 20 on 30-day challenge. Pretty quiet weekend for me. Don't know about you guys. Just kick back, Nothing much happened. Okay, maybe a little bit happened. Maybe just a tiny bit. But we're back again and we're focused and we're looking forward to the rest of the challenge. And keep in mind, we're not there yet, folks. We've still got plenty of stuff. We're just starting out. And today, what I wanted to do first off is introduce you to, I suppose, the ethics of social bookmarking. Now, if I had my time again, I would have actually done this piece, and in fact, I'll probably move it after the challenge is over to the pre-season, just to show what this is all about. In fact, Hitman here asked, what does Ed Dale mean by stealing? Because on day 19, I put out a YouTube video which pointed out that I look at social bookmarking and social posting as a bit like a bank account. And every time you social post somebody else's content where you've come across and you think, oh, gee, that's clever, you're making a deposit into that account. And then when you socially bookmark something that you've produced, here's the assumption I'm making, and it did make an ass out of you and me, is that that's quality content in that it's good and it achieves a purpose. A person who comes across that content will not go, geez, that was a waste of time. That was good. And so it's making that assumption that that's the case, then bookmarking your own thing is fine. People somehow think that that's spamming. That's complete and utter tosh. It is just rubbish. Every blogger, any professional blogger on the face of the earth, always socially bookmarks their articles, hither and yon. It's just the nature of it. It's not spamming. That's complete rubbish. Now, if you were to have a group of, say, 20 people all lined up, and just every time you submitted a bookmark, social bookmark to them, they just automatically did the rounds social bookmarking, then yes, I grant you that that's a manipulation, which is why I wanted you to keep teams to groups of 4, 5 or 6, because think about this, and the analogy is if you've got 5 mates and you find something that's good, you're going to tell all your mates that it's good. That makes sense. But and this weekend has proved that you don't have to do much. All this stuff is so powerful that you really don't have to do much to make an impact. So it's very important that you do things ethically well. And so I want to explain to you what I mean by the stealing. And what I'm going to do is to go to yet another site which does all of this stuff for you, and it's called Socialize This. There are dozens of these sites. There are none that are here or there. You can see here I've created what Ed Dale meant by stealing, 30-day challenge forums. I'll just move that across a little. Now, I just wanted to point out, and you can see here, this is quite a good arrangement in the sense that these guys have made a delineation between top services and other services, whereas Social Poster sort of does it, up to down. But you can see even here, there's a whole bunch of ones in here that aren't even in Social Poster. There are hundreds of these things, gang. Absolute hundreds. And why are they here? Let's first ask that question. Why are they here? They're here for 2 reasons. And the first reason, and let me talk to you about Delicious here. So I've clicked on Delicious here, and this will actually rank this thing. And all the hackers are quickly having a look at my Delicious tags to see what I've been working on. But go for your life, fellas. It's all public. And you don't think I'd be using the one I use for my private projects here. Not that stupid. So here we are. This is the front. But why is this here? Delicious is more here for me. Because when I bookmark this, and I'm just going to pause so I can type this out so you don't have to watch it. And so I'm just tagging here, and I love how they pop up those suggestions, which is very cool. You notice on Delicious that they run together multiple phrases. So, for example, 30-day challenge is 30-day challenge. So the reason that I'm tagging here is not really for other people to come across my site, although they do. This is for me. It's all about me. Forget you guys. Why? And I'll just drag this screen down for you so I can show you. Remember way back... no, I haven't got mouse Bezier on. Give me a sec. By the way, do you see that? That's Quicksilver, folks. Awesome program. So if we have a look here, you can see where my cursor is. And when I say it's an awesome program when I open it properly. Oh, hang on, just give me a sec. Okay, here we are. Ta-da! You can see up here, there's the tag button, which is where I can tag and bookmark this particular page. But the other thing that I like using is this. See how it's dropped that down? And if I put 30-day challenge... Now, I don't know if you're watching what's going on below. And if I spell it correctly, of course. You'll see there's a bunch of bookmarks down here based on the 30-day challenge, including my blog post, because do I use all the social parking when I do a blog? Yeah, absolutely I do. That's not spamming. I mean, it's ridiculous to call social bookmarking spamming at all. Mass organised social posting is a form of spamming when it is content which is crud. And, and everybody, Web 2.0 community, by the way, hi, welcome, glad you're watching. When they bookmark things, it's absolutely not a spam, but people would be completely naive to think that there aren't rooms full of people in Costa Rica and China and anywhere else you care to name, Romania, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, where there are rooms of people being paid $1 an hour to socially bookmark stuff. Okay? Sorry. That's just the facts. That's how it works. And remember, we talked about the ethics, if you will, and the reason why people utilize Web 2.0. There's a commerce reward, and then there's a emotional recognition reward, the ability to be able to get your views on the world and the planet out there and appreciated, or stirring the pot, however you want to put it. And this is the whole essence of the thing. And if you're uncomfortable with not doing it for commerce, you should leave now, really. You really should. Which is, again, and I want to emphasize this because I'm afraid I've spotted, just today even, I've spotted some Facebook groups that have, like hundreds of members in it that are posting their links up. Gang, you'll get killed. Look, sorry. You'll make some money. Could work like gangbusters, but you'll get found and you'll get knocked out. Sorry, but that's the facts. If you keep it, you only need 4 or 5 people to do it. Mass groups for that sort of thing are a complete waste. It's actually going to hurt you more than it helps, because that's not marketing the way the internet works. Because how do things work naturally? And this is the other big point that I want to make. There's so much disinformation out there about social bookmarking. There is so much disinformation that it just totally annoys me. So if I go to the, I'll just go here to the Tubby Nerd blog. Okay, so we're off to the Tubby Nerd blog now. Now, how does things normally happen? So, for example, I've got a post here, and if I'll post that and make that happen. Now, what happens is a couple of other people will come across it, and they'll click it, and a few more people will come across it, and they'll bookmark it. Do you see how it's an organic curve? Do you think the search engines aren't awake to this? Come on. And this is the problem that people have. I have thousands of people every day looking at this site. So having, a couple of hundred people socially bookmark a post is not unnatural at all. It makes sense because they can see the traffic, right? And they see the number of people searching for 30-day challenge and Ed Dale and all that, and it sort of works. It makes sense. But if you put sausage making tips, and before today there'd been 12,000 pages in the entire earth that have sausage making tips as a phrase somewhere on that page, and all of a sudden a page is created and there are 90 people all recommending that and socially bookmarking it. Not a good plan, folks. That's manipulation. That's not marketing how the internet works. That's not natural. If 4 or 5 people did it, that would be fine. And then, of course, we have to, you'll pop up, but you'll also get knocked back down because, again, Google's not silly. They figure, yes, new information on sausage making tips is relevant, but it's only going to stay relevant as long as people continue to refer to it and link it, and which says to Google, oh, okay, right, I'm with you. I see that other people are looking at this. Other people from all around the world are clicking on my listing in Google, or the listing, sausage making tips in Google. So yeah, we love that. We'll keep on that. Bulk mass marketing for new content is a complete and utter waste, and it will get you knocked out. It'll get you put into the sandbox, the supplemental index. Although, sorry, there's not going to be a supplemental index anymore. You'll just be sandboxed, and you'll be put off to the side, and Google will have a good long look at you and see, was that just put up and left to wither and die, or did people really think that was useful? And that's what this is all about, folks, is the thing. You're never ever going to run into any problems, despite what some people are writing at the moment. You'll never, ever, ever run into any problems if you have great content that answers people's needs. And in the Web 2.0 world, you don't go salesy. Because if you go salesy, you can be blown up. And this whole Tumblr episode over the weekend was just a great lesson in seeing a bunch of people get really enthusiastic and throw up what we call placeholder pages. And then if you're going to do a placeholder page, that's all well and good. That's absolutely fair enough. But then to put that into the mix and socially bookmark a placeholder page, apart from being stupid, is going to get you killed. Okay? It's absolutely dumb. And it's wrong. That's not marketing the way the internet works. It's like flashing back to those horrible days of AdSense 18 months ago, where you'd type in any phrase and the first listings were always these bloody AdSense sites, which are just full of ads and nothing else. It's rotten, and that's not what it's about. So when you're looking at these, social bookmarks, and I'll just bring back socialize, you really have to get to understand and look at each of these sites. And in fact, let's go to, just for consistency's sake, let's go to Social Poster as well. And pardon me. And you have to understand what each of these different sites do. Take the time to have a look and see what there is. Now, how do I contribute to the communities specifically? And this is what you should do, because here's the thing, and a few people have had this happen to them. They've contributed something of their own to, say, Netscape, and they've probably done it a little too enthusiastically and done a whole bunch of things. And Netscape just look at that and go, that's not natural. That doesn't seem right. So how do you build up a bank account with these people? How do you do that? And well, I'm actually going to give you license now to actually take an hour or so off and good old click stumble and grab all these things. Oh, hang on, what's this? Hang on, I've got to pause for a second. Hang on, gang. Interesting there. I stumble upon has a new profile page, which is very interesting because it has a RSS feed, which is very cool, but not on today's topic. So, I'm going to use Stumble to have a look around at different sites, and if I see sites that are good and I think, oh, gee, that's useful, I'll click, I like it, and then I'll do some social posting on it as well. And putting the links and the text, and off we go. And get that to happen. Because, and let's finish up here, people want you to bookmark things. They absolutely want to do that. They just don't want to see bookmarking perverted. And how's it perverted? When there's done, because, one final point before I finish up here. Keep in mind that bookmarking goes both ways. There's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And here's the thing. If you get, for example, Dig, which is a classic, an absolute classic example. If you get too much attention on Dig, right, and then people have the choice of either digging it or indeed burying it. And bury it they will. They absolutely will. If it's no good. But if the content's good, they'll bump it up and continue more, and you'll get that whole sort of tipping point reaction with it. So, what are the key points here out of social bookmarking with regards to the 30-day challenge? One is to contribute. As you're surfing around yourself, get in the habit of whenever you've in your mind hear yourself going, hey, that's cool, or that's really interesting, socially post it. You just don't have to post your own stuff. Second, make sure you're not posting in groups above 5 or 6, because if you do any more than that, you'll get into big problems. If not today, you'll eventually get caught and you'll take down your entire group. I'm afraid I've seen on Facebook some groups that have like 200 or 300 people in there. And gang, that's bad. That is really, really, really bad. Like that will be, because how hard is it to trace backwards? And Google will do that in 10 seconds and you'll be all nuked. You don't have to game. Here's the great thing about Web 2.0, folks. You don't have to game it. Right? You don't have to game it. Just use it how it's designed to be used naturally and do it with great content, and it'll do the work for you. You don't need to game it. You only need a little push. You don't need a big shove off a cliff. All right, I think I've made the point. So there you have it. So I hope today you keep that in mind as you go social bookmarking. And don't be afraid to point out to somebody if you think their content is a bit light on, because you're doing them a favour in the long run as well. So give that a crack. But again, it's just not evil stuff. All right, folks, speak soon.